Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Diesel Creek. If this is your first time joining us, my name's Matt. Behind me, this Caterpillar 977K model track loader, and this is the second part on this machine. If you haven't seen the first part, the link's in the description. Highly recommend you go check it out. It was a good video. Basically, I suspect this loader has been sitting at least 15 years, possibly longer. In the last video, me and my buddy came up here and we threw some fuel and some batteries and did a little bit of prep work and was able to actually get this thing popped off pretty easy. It pretty much just fired right up with a little bit of finagling. But then we found we couldn't get it to go into gear. So we ended up having to take the cushioning valve and the shifting spool out of the transmission and break it all free and clean it up and reinstall it, as it was full of rust. It would not budge. Anyway, once we got the transmission back together, this thing forward and backward steers like a dream. Pulled it out of where it's been sitting all that time. Thought, victory is mine. Raised the bucket all the way up in the air, and the moment I got it, I don't even know if I hit max height. As soon as it got close, boom, hydraulic line failed, and the bucket came crashing back down. So that's what we're here to fix today. Now, I took this machine and another front loader over there with some forks on it as a payment for tearing down a barn for a guy. And the best part is I get to use this machine to do the demo. So after we get this thing fixed today, we're gonna get it completely serviced and ready to operate, because the next time you see it, we're gonna be tearing down a barn with it. And just a sidebar, the barn is really far gone and unfortunately not worth saving. I have a soft spot in my heart for barns, and I wouldn't tear one down for anybody unless it was really beyond saving, which this one is. So I guess let's go ahead and get into this thing. After probing around a few minutes, I was able to find our issue, and that would be that line right there. I don't know if you guys can see. She's just blown to pieces. I mean, that line is very well frazzled. So unfortunately, the only way to even get to that line to change it is crawl underneath of the machine here and work up underneath of here. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. I don't like anything about this. I'm in knee-deep grass underneath of here that hasn't been disturbed in a week. This machine's been sitting, so all kind of creepy critters could be hiding under here with me. And I'm in a claustrophobic environment. Sounds perfect. Yep, here we go. Oh yeah, yeah, she's blown. Wow. Yeah. Get you guys in here for a visual. You guys, that'll still hold fluid, right? Yeah, hopefully we can get away with just replacing this one. These are expensive lines here. Well, we got that hydraulic line off on the cylinder end of things. Now I need to figure out where the heck the other end of it goes, as it goes down inside the frame there. I think I know where it goes, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop the belly pan just to confirm I'm looking at the right line. This section of the belly pan is on a hinge and it just swings down. And I need to get in here anyways because I dropped my beloved little Olight flashlight down in here last week. And I like that light. Oh yeah, she's got some sludge on it. You ready? Oh man, this thing's heavy. Ugh. shoulder deep into her now. Oh, boys. I know that flashlight's around here somewhere. There's the lower jaw from what appears to be a groundhog. Perfect. Uh-huh. Come here. I got it. I got my flashlight. Ah! Yeah, look at that. It still works. Whew. That was tough to reach. Well, I managed to get this access plate off here. That was about impossible. See, I could only see like up to here before. So, that would have been an absolute nightmare to try to excavate all this packed dirt to get down to around here. I'm still having a heck of a time. But the flange lock is right there. Oh, thank the Lord. At least I can see the finish line. Still got a couple laps to go, I think, though. Ugh. And all I can use is my left arm at a weird angle. So, it gets a little tiring. What I would give for a needle scaler right now, I'll tell you that. Hallelujah, the light at the end of the tunnel. I bet you that took me over an hour to chisel all that dirt out from around there. I mean, I've never seen dirt packed so hard into a machine. It was like rock. I had to like chisel it with a hammer. Anyways, hopefully we can go ahead and pull these bolts out of there and get this stinking line off finally. There's one. There's two. There we go. There's half the flange lock off. Pretty well rusted. That's going to take some cleaning up. Sweet. Sweet success. You dirty. Well, I think I see the problem in the hose, huh? Yep. Yeah, she's got life left in her, huh? Off to the hydraulic shop. Yeah, so we just got that hose off of there, and look who decides to show up for a cameo. This is Wes of Watch Wes Work, in case you guys don't know.
I'm trying to figure out why Matt brought all these tools out here for this perfectly good machine. I mean, somebody just parked it and it was fine.
Wes says this is a 20-minute job according to the book. I've been on it all day.
I told him to call the cat dealer, but he won't do it.
I did have to call the cat dealer. I got a filter from there.
Oh, well, tell him to send the service guy out.
Yeah.
We'll get you fixed up.
They cringe when you start telling them short serial numbers like this. They're like, oh, it's not 14 digits. Oh, I don't know.
They have to go to a paper catalog.
They did. They weren't happy about it.
Well, I bet not.
But yeah.
I think on the camera people don't get a sense of like how big this machine is.
There you go. How tall are you, Wes?
It's like 6'4".
So Wes is 6'4", and this machine's a good two heads taller than him.
It's a 1.5 feet taller than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's massive. And it doesn't even have a roll cage. If it had a roll cage, it'd be.
Yeah. I'm gonna poke around the weeds. Obviously somebody homebrewed a ROPS for this thing at some point, but I haven't found it yet. There's a lot of places to explore around here though.
I don't know, I'm thinking Got that perfectly good Jimmy over there. You just saw off the cab. Now you got air conditioning, heat, power windows.
There you go. We'll just sit it'd be like a version of a killdozer.
Right.
Just sit the Chevy right down on top like a shell. We have rear view mirrors, the works. That's a good idea. Might have to do that.
You're gonna need some tear gas filters.
Da, 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 da. We got a new big black hose here. People love a good guessing game. How much do you think this cost? When Wes was here, he guessed 300, and I think he just guessed 300. I said nope, it's gonna be 260. Sure enough, $264. So I guess if we're playing Price is Right rules, I still lost, but yeah. You gotta pay to play. Hey, the big girls are always expensive dates. All right, now we gotta try to slide this new hose in without getting a bunch of dirt down in there or damaging our O-ring. Ow. This will be fun, huh? Oh, my O-ring's already trying to come out. Things are really shaping up. Not enough room to work in here. I made this line like 2 inches too long, I think. This is gonna be a bear. Buy old equipment, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I'm just kidding, nobody ever said that. Oh man, I crack myself up. Well, maybe you guys will remember from part 1, the inner air filter is this goofy thing. Looks like this here. And the one in the machine was dated from 72, so that could be the original air filter. Not sure. So I got us a new one of those because it was pretty black. And it was hard to lift that hood with 2 people, which should be real fun with 1. This was tough with 2 people. Should be way more fun with 1. Yeah, it's a treat. It's just a treat. Well, we can get to the bolts a lot easier now. Big guy. Come on. There's the bad boy we're replacing right there. I was wrong, I said it was 72, it's actually 76. So, yeah. I think it's time for a new one. Looks a little better, doesn't it? I think it's got more pleats than the original one too. I'm gonna go ahead and get a paint marker, throw the date on there. Oh, look, made in the USA even. Fancy. I found the hour meter down under the hood here. Can't be positive, but it looks like it says 10,335 hours. She's still a pup. Oh yeah. Filter installed. Boy, everything's really falling into place now. Oh, dad jokes. All right, well, the next thing I want to attend to here is the starter, because when you crank it, or go to crank it, she didn't crank. So what that is this solenoid up here probably has dirty contacts or a burnt contact or something. And we may be able to take it apart and clean it up, or get just a solenoid. I'm certainly not going to replace the whole starter because the starter motor itself cranks over just fine. And now here's what happens when you hit the key. So it's just that solenoid not making contact. It would be much easier to work on this thing if we could raise the boom all the way up in the air and leave it there. And since I replaced that line, we should be able to do that. However, I do not have a safety bar to support the boom in case of a line failure. And there's no way I'm sticking my neck in that guillotine trusting the rest of these old hoses that are holding it up. So we're just gonna have to work through this access hole. I think all we should have to do is pull a couple wires off of these connections here and unbolt this guy, and I think this might just pull right out. I think. Could be wrong. Probably am. All right, will it lift? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, it is connected in there. Son of a diddly. I'm actually pulling the innards out of the solenoid here as I do this. This is not supposed to come apart this way. Son of a diddly. Oh, this thing's heavy. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh. Now that is a starter, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. There's an iPhone next to it for comparison. It's not like the one in your Focus. Oh man. Well, it's getting late in the day, so I'm gonna take this home and we'll bench test everything before I bother to bring it back out here. All right, so back in the shop here, we have our 100-pound starter. At least that's what I imagine this thing weighs. It's pretty heavy. That worked. I think I could have done that on the machine too. Son of a diddly. Here you can see exactly how this works now. So when we turn the key and the solenoid is engaged, kabam! So here we are with just the solenoid, which should be the source of all of our troubles. And look at this. Back in the day when they used to clearly label things, some things still are, but it's becoming exceptionally rare. Motor, battery, ground, switch. It could not be simpler. It's beautiful when they actually just take the 2 seconds and stamp something in there for you so you can know what the heck you're working with. Anyways, let's zip this back cover off of here, and that should expose our contacts and we should be able to see what we're working with. Oh, there's my first peek inside, and I think I can already see the problems. Big time corrosion, just as I suspected. Look at those contacts. Can you see it? Can you see it? All right, so that's definitely our problem. We're gonna go ahead. We got 2 little leads coming up off of the solenoid coil here, and luckily you guys are recording this for me, so I can come back and reference this if I forget which one goes where. But it looks like 2 Phillips heads will get those screws loose, and I can take this apart and clean it nice. There we go. Look at how much corrosion. That's pretty bad. So we'll actually just hit this with the die grinder, knock off. I don't know if you guys can see, this isn't just like surface corrosion. This is actually like built up. I could scrape this off if I had a razor blade handy. It's actually like built up corrosion. Same thing on our contacts here. Big hunks of corrosion on here. So we'll go ahead and get the die grinder with a sanding disc and just knock that down flat and clean that up to nice clean surfaces. And I'm going to guarantee that was our problem. when I assemble this thing, I'm going to make sure that this contact disc is not lined up with these contacts the same way it used to be. I'm going to rotate it here since it's non-directional, and now I'll have nice clean surfaces to be hitting on here. So this is kind of pitted up and everything still, and you don't want to grind it down smooth because then you're going to be really eating into your contact surface. So the smoother areas should make better contact and not arc out as much. All right, got our starter all reinstalled here. Hopefully everything works on it. If it doesn't, I do know where to look though. There's a wire right there coming out of the harness that's looks like it's just hanging on by a thread. I'm not sure what that wire actually does. It's power going somewhere. So yeah, I don't have the stuff here to fix it, so we're just gonna hope that one holds on. Anyways, I guess we're ready to go ahead and see if this thing's gonna fire up with a key instead of having to jump it again. Here goes nothing. Everybody was telling me that I needed to use the glow plugs a bunch on this machine, so I'll try that and see if it makes it any easier to start up. They're definitely working. As soon as I switch it over to the heat, the amp meter just goes poof right down in the basement, so they draw quite a bit of power. All right, you guys ready? Moment of truth. Contact. Come on, man. I let go of the starter. It was still trying to go there. Yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit of air back into the fuel system somehow. I think it might be our primer plunger. I think the O-rings on that thing are gone bad because it was a little wonky when I was trying to use it in the last video. So, yeah, maybe one more little crank here and she might go. Ready? Contact! It popped off with a little bit more cranking. It sounds good. It's sitting there idling nice. We'll go ahead and give it a second to warm up, and now that we have our hydraulic line fixed, hopefully we can pick the bucket all the way up. I might need to top off the tank though to do that. So we find ourselves underneath the rear end of the machine here. Don't worry, I have the parking brake set. It's not going anywhere. This plug right here should be the one that drains most of the transmission fluid. And then we have one here and one over there that should drain some bevel gear fluid. Up there in that belly pin that we had down last time we were here, there is a another drain there. And there's also a pickup screen in there that we'll need to clean out. So it's a 3/4 square plug to get that thing out of there. Just enough room to even get my ratchet in here. I hope this thing doesn't fight me too bad. Whew. Yeah. Sure. Well, we'll see how this goes. I got my 20-ton breaker bar going on down here. About the only thing I can come up with to think if I can maybe break this plug loose with. I heated it up. Now I'm going to try this. Nothing like a good old game of release the shmoo. Oh yeah, it's coming. Oh yeah, you guys see the milkshake starting. This is going to be a good one, I can tell. Here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, oil's supposed to be this color, Mike, I think. I'm pretty sure. That's fine.
Oh, there's a nice milkshake.
It's creamy vanilla. It really does look like melted vanilla ice cream.
Huh.
Is it slowing down yet?
Or caramel. Probably caramel.
Caramel.
Well, you better put that plug in.
That's what I'm looking. Oh good, she's slowing way down. Oh, it's worse. There's a lot of water in here. Ugh. Maybe not a lot, but more than there should be. And the second bevel gear. Yep. And so far every drain plug has had quite a bit of metallic material on the magnet. Nothing real bad. I think it's all just kind of that rust that we saw in the transmission. So the drain plugs are doing their job. There's also a big magnetic screen that we have to clean out up top too. And there we go. But we'll drain this plug right here. There should be a good bit of oil comes out of this case here. And then there's a screen. We got to take these 5 bolts out, and that whole flange comes down. There we go. That one popped loose pretty easy. There was some water in there, not a crap ton. Oh my goodness. Look at the metal shavings attached to that. Holy crap. Man. Oh, we got a big chunk. That ain't good. That is not good. That is a lot of metal shavings attached to a magnetic drain plug. And this cherry on top, I think right there, looks an awful lot like the tip of a gear tooth. It's not good. I did kind of feel a little bit of a, I don't know, a rumble almost, or like a little popping noise on the left side track. And I attributed that to being too tight. You see how this one's got a little bit of wave across the top? Well, this side does not. It is tight as a banjo string. and I was going to loosen it up a little bit because I figured that's maybe why it was making that little bit of a popping effect. But now I'm thinking there's something wrong in the tranny, so that's great. Well, judging by all the metal we found on the drain plugs, we might have quite a show here. What we're just opening up here is a magnetic pickup screen for all the fluid in the transmission to pass through, I do believe. I don't believe this is a bypassable screen. I think every bit of tranny fluid comes through here. Oh yeah. It is not good. So here's the screen. And I don't know how well you guys can tell, but that screen is just packed with dirt, contaminants, and a lot of metal flake. That is not good. Not good at all. And I'm guessing, this is just a guess now, I'm guessing this filter screen has actually split apart in partial because the pressure of it trying to suck the fluid out through this screen, as clogged as it was, blew this screen apart. So we're going to try to get this thing replaced because this is, in my opinion, no longer fit for operation. Now here, though, is where you can really see the crusties. So these are 4 magnets here, and they are just absolutely covered in metal. Now, I suppose if everything did its job in this system, then we might still be all right, I guess. I know that's a long shot. There's definitely damage in there. That's where all the metal came from in the first place. However, it didn't wipe out our pump. I mean, the thing still was moving around here, and everything just fine, aside from that little popping going on the right side, or left side track rather. It still operated just fine. What in the world is going on here? It's like loose, but it ain't loose. I don't know. There we go. Good golly. That has an O-ring in it. Well, it's got a lot of water in it, I can tell you that. All those little bubbles coming out of there, those are all little droplets of water. Okay, well, here's the transmission filter we just pulled out. It's a Wix filter, and it is quite heavy. It is definitely full of water and dirt, debris. I don't see a ton of metal in this filter, but I'm sure there is some. But yeah, it's definitely due for a replacement. This is the filter that Kat gave us to replace it. I kind of like those ones that are caged in metal, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. The book says to tighten this nut within to 10 foot-pounds plus or minus 2, so click. Good enough. All right, and it all comes down to this. We're gonna pull the bottom pickup screen off, and this should be probably the worst of the worst here, because all that heavy chunks of metal wind up at the bottom of the case and get stuck in the pickup screen. I'm fairly certain at this point that we have a gear that's missing a tooth or two, possibly worse. So yeah, I don't know what to say about it. All right, actually the screen is not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Definitely got some chunkage on it, but really that's pretty manageable. I don't want to say happy with it, but pleasantly surprised maybe. So this filter screen here, it's not a super fine mesh like the that other screen that had the magnets in it, but like I said, this one doesn't look too bad. This is all just your typical usual grimy junk that builds up and gear cases over the years. So we'll just give this a quick rinse off with some diesel fuel and should be home free. All right, well there we go. It's all clean again. Ready to slap it back in there. Luckily, even our gasket stayed nice. Didn't tear that in any way. So we should be able to just bolt this baby right back up and start putting fluid to it. All right, we finally got the belly pan button back up. So that means we can go ahead and start adding our fluid. You gotta pay to play this game. This is $430 some worth of transmission oil we're about to put in here. I actually was able to get it cheaper from Cat than any generic stuff from Napa. This same stuff at Napa, the equivalent was $103 per bucket. I got this stuff for like 64 something a bucket. All right, I just popped the nuts off the top of our fuel filter housing here. We'll pull the filter out, see what part number is so I can order a new one. Ooh, there is some shmoo coming out of there. You guys see that? Ugh. Yep, I think we need to change that one. Alright, we're going to blow the fuel line out, make sure we don't have any contaminants in our line. We got it broken off at the tank and broken off right here at the water separator. I'm going to stand back and Mike's going to let it fly. Give her. Oh yeah. Seems pretty good. All right, so we got track loader Christmas going on today. We got new fuel filter, new oil filters, and a new transmission screen because the old one here you guys saw is pretty well pooched. So this thing, no bueno. We'll get rid of that. Now we just have to clean off the gunk off all these magnets, slip the new screen over it, reinstall that guy. Well, that took way longer than expected. With so many cascading magnets, every time you'd blow the crap off of this one, it would stick to all these ones and vice versa. And then it's trapped on the inside, the outside, in between the magnet and the housing, and it's just, it took a while, but I got it about as clean as I think it's gonna get. It's not new, but it's gonna do its job, and that's what matters. Oh yeah. Well, the GoPro 9 saga continues. I just replaced our fuel filter here. I put a new gasket in it and everything, and the camera was recording and then just decided to quit, so you guys didn't get to see it. But anyways, this is our fuel plunger right here. This is supposed to prime the filter, actually the entire system, and I can tell it's leaking, and when you pump it, it squirts fuel out of it and everything. So there's an O-ring in here that's probably bad, and we can hopefully pull it out of here and rebuild it. Yeah, see those O-rings there are flat and hard, and there might be another one inside. There it is with two new O-rings on there. I'm not super confident about this because the O-rings don't look like they fill up the gap properly, but the O-rings I have in the next size up are too big, so we'll try this and see what happens. Getting a bit frustrated with our little manual plunger here. I'm gonna go ahead and crank it, crank the engine over with the injector pump in the off position so that we should theoretically use the mechanical lift pump here and pull fuel. Contact. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I got fuel, this plug, I just pulled this plug out and it was actually damp with fuel, but it wasn't like pouring out of there like I would expect. But there's like some sort of overflow down here by the belly pan, and fuel was pouring out of there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the injection pump over, give it a whiff of ether because the batteries sound like they're slowing down a bit, and see if this thing pops off. Contact. Everything looks good over here. I don't see any leaks. All right, everything's good and hot. Let's go ahead and climb underneath here and change this oil. I got to drop this belly pan down so I can get this plug out. I stretched a come along from one side to the other, and that cable is actually holding up the belly pan right now. It's kind of a trick to help you get it down solo. Works even better if you got a crane on a service truck, but I don't. Ooh. Ruh-roh. All right, now the cable is actually holding the belly pan entirely, and we can just go ahead and let the slack out of the cable and the belly pan will fall down nice and gently. There we go. Ready? There we go. We'll let that drip for a few minutes, then reinstall our plug, switch the filters, pour the oil, and we're off to the races. Filter number 2. All right, perfect. Now that I've spilled oil all over the top of the engine, and I think I overfilled it by a half a gallon because I wasn't paying attention, we're ready to go ahead and fire this thing up. All right, contact. I think we're gonna finish this one up right here, guys. Well, I reckon that'll about do it for the old 977 here. I am disappointed that there's got to be something wrong in that transmission, but I ran it around here for a little bit, and I loosened the track on the left side too, and I don't feel that popping that I was discussing earlier. I don't know, it couldn't have gone away. I mean, there's definitely still problems in there, but I don't feel now what I was feeling before, so that's a good sign. Maybe the damage is minimal and we can run it for a while like this. I'm planning on running it for a while like this. Like I said, I have a barn to tear down with this machine. That is the big incentive here. Other than the transmission, the engine runs great. It steers great. You know, I have no complaints there. It seems like it has pretty good power. So the next time you guys see the old 977, we're going to be shoving over a barn and a silo with it and cleaning up the mess from that. So if you like the video, guys, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, let me know what you think, and if you haven't already, be sure you subscribe so you can stick around and see us push down a barn with this thing. Don't forget, if you want some Diesel Creek merch, we got hats, t-shirts, hoodies, all kind of stuff, stickers, over on the website at dieselcreek.com. There's a link down in the description if you're interested. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with me, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.